disputes and holdouts are nothing new, and former goaltender Ken Wregget thought he deserved more with the Flyers. Let's go back to the time when Ron Hextall was at the helm, and Wregget wasn't too happy playing in his shadow.
Okay, let's move on to hockey, Al. We finally found an area where you may actually know something. It's been long enough to wait.
I've blown you away so far,
yes,
so let's see if we can just do it again.
Al, latest
State.
reports. This is breaking news as we sit here.
Breaking news.
Kenny Wregget is seriously talking about
his agent.
His agent, right, who is his spokesman, is talking about Ken Wregget not showing up to play in the next Flyers game in Pittsburgh. Now the question is, why is Kenny Wregget waiting till this point in the season to pull a stunt like this?
I don't think he's seriously not going to show up. I think they're just trying to force the issue. They want to get to arbitration. They want it done quickly.
What's his contract situation right now?
He's not signed. They've asked for arbitration, and I really think that Ken Wregget has got the raw end of the deal since he's been here. I mean, Ron Hextall had a great year, and he could be a great goalie. But Lord knows, I mean, he's had more groin pulls and victories 2 years in a row now.
Yep.
Okay. I think Ken Wregget has to be looked at more than a backup goalie.
What is Wregget paid?
$300.
What is Hextall paid?
Oh, close to $1 million if you count incentives that he could get. This is absurd.
Guy's got a point.
All right, he's got a point, but the problem I have with it is the timing of it. The season is underway. He has an obligation to his teammates right now and to his team. If you show up for camp, if you begin a season, you don't pull a stunt like this and walk out early in a season, right? I mean, this really jeopardizes the game. If he does do it, it jeopardizes one, maybe more than one game. And he's exploiting the fact that Hextall is hurt again, and he's trying to use that as leverage to get a better deal. That doesn't sound like Kenny Wregget to me. I'm surprised he's doing it.
Isn't it interesting that in the world of high finance, if this was going on, you'd say of Ken Wregget or Ken Wregget's agent, what a shrewd person he is. This is when you seize the opportunity when your opponent is most vulnerable. But because it's sports, we say, oh, no, he owes his loyalty to the team.
Well, doesn't he?
I think he does. But how do you reconcile? It's still a business, isn't it? It's
right.
Still his livelihood.
And the Flyers kind of asked for a situation like this because last year, remember with Hextall? Hextall got what he wanted.
But he got what he wanted.
By strong-arming him.
That's right.
And that's the lesson the players learned.
Right, now, what about Hextall? Now, what are we to think of Hextall? This is really the third season that he's been involved in an
injury
situation.
You've got to think that he's undependable. Until he proves otherwise.
So he got the deal of a lifetime.
He got an unbelievable deal. He got an astounding
It's as though the owners never learn. The 76ers only recently finished paying off Jeff Rulin. They are still paying Andrew Toney. The Flyers are probably going to end up in that same situation with Ron Hextall. You have to conclude, don't you, that Ron Hextall is just brittle, that the first 3 letters of his name are applicable as far as injuries are concerned?
All right, not a bad way to put it. Okay.
Ron,
how about
R-O-N?
how about well, we're talking about the Flyers in their situation right now. I mean, let's look at their start and what's happened with their team so far. Al, I mean, you look at that and you look at Hextall. What does the future hold for this team?
I told you last week, I think 80 to 85 points. I think they've got a good young nucleus, and they're going to be entertaining, and they're going to win games at home. They've won 3 games at home.
Let's talk about home for a second now, all right?
Oh, yeah, whatever you want to do, because you're running this. I was halfway through his thought, but go ahead.
Well, we've got.
Let's go ahead.
Old number 7 was retired.
Old number 7, Jay Well. Oh, sorry, he just wore it between.
Bill Barber's number was retired last week, and what was to be a poignant ceremony at the Spectrum didn't exactly turn out that way because a lot of people had a little bit of a grudge to pay against Jay Snider, the president of the team. And when Jay Snider entered the ring in the rink in the first time his name was announced, huge torrent of boos. There were boos throughout the ceremony aimed at Jay Snider. Al, what's this about?
I think that it's just that they don't like, and it's going to sound, you know, tremendous. They don't like Jay Snider. I think when you're the owner's son.
It's too analytical for us, Al.
When you're the owner's son, you're rich. You've got this air about you, a cocky kind of an air. And maybe the thing that had to do with Clark, but I don't think so much. I think they didn't like Jay Snider even before. I think a lot of it's unfair, but he's never going to get out from under.
Jay Snider is not the first owner in this town to be booed, shockingly. It goes with the territory. They boo Bill Giles when he comes out. Norman Brayman, I don't think even shows up anymore because he knows they're going to...
Including his own locker room.
That's right. He knows
he's not welcome.
He knows they're going to boo him. They boo Katz. Welcome to the club, Jay. The Flyers have been excluded for this for a while, but now
probably the most popular owner in Philadelphia right now is Leonard Toast.
No. Well, I'll tell you.
According to Al, he is. I'll listen to him.
The funny thing about this is that the most popular owner is Ed Snider. They love Ed Snider. They still love Ed Snider.
Jay Snider I got to know pretty well because I actually covered the Flyers for the Inquirer a brief period of time when he was running things. He was a very nice guy, much nicer guy than we ever portrayed him as, because as a guy running a franchise, he was in over his head. And to his credit, all right, that was horrible, all right? Him getting booed in front of the fans that his father had brought the franchise to this city for was a sad moment, but it was also necessary because really, that's the kind of thing, that's what happens in Philadelphia that makes the fans so important. Fans, by booing Jay Snider, make Ed Snider realize that Jay is a good businessman, but not necessarily a good runner of a franchise. And they got him out, they got Russ Farwell out, Ed came back in, put better people in, and they were right back where they were originally. And the fans made that move as much as anybody when they booed Jay Snider. It's so interesting. And Jay is a really good guy. He just was a bad runner of a sports franchise, and the fans let him know it. God bless him.
I guess the fans in this city have always been honest with their opinions. On the other side, we'll see who our panel would choose as quarterback if they needed one win. That's next on The Great Sports Debate.